This is what we call
Hater shit.
There is no better term. So what I have to do to prepare for a doctor's visit is very, very different than what most people have to do. I, as you guys all know, who have been following since the Dylan bullshit, I have been updating my own physician as well as numerous area hospitals.
Why does her stomach... I'm trying so hard not to look at her top. And I am a straight female. It's just look weird. It's just going sideways and it's just flopping down. Like, I make fun of myself sometimes about orangutan, and I'm like, never mind. Okay, but her stomach, I feel like it's shaped funny. Like, why does it look funny? It's hard to look at her stomach and not see the inevitable. I mean...
It's very, very different than what most people have to do. I, as you guys all know, who have been following since the Dylan bullshit, I have been updating my own physician as well as numerous area hospitals, Northwestern, Del Nor, my private care team, and there are at least two separate locations where the information is housed. DHS, Elmhurst Hospital, First Community Hospital, St. Mary's Hospital, St. Joseph's Hospital. And what happens is, as allegations come out against you, i.e. this person is unstable mentally, there are now a list this long of doctors who can attest to not only the fact that I engaged in regular conversation,
engaged in regular conversation. She reminds me of Marshawn Lynch, whenever he used to go for the interviews, and he's like, I'm just here so I won't get fined. She just go to the doctor's office so she could be like, I went to the doctors, I care, I took care, I did prenatal care. Like, she thinks she's so smart. Like, she thinks she tries to be ahead of others, but you're not the smartest one.
15 to 30 minutes speaking, made sense in my speaking, made clear, precise articulation.
Do y'all see how she knows what she has to do? Like, that's pretty crazy. Like, it makes me wonder if she studied this. Like, or she just has been so many times. So she knows how to act. She knows that she has to have a conversation with them, and it has to make sense, and like she knows she's pretty much saying she knows how to get over people if she wants to, and she went ahead and talked to a few doctors on her own just to make sure. Why don't you go do that to someone who actually practiced? Why are you going to all these other doctors? Why don't you go and actually get a real psych eval? Those I'm very iffy with as well, but why not?
Of the situation, as well as handed out a document that gives a narrative to all that has happened. So I'm telling them, look, you guys, beginning in this year, I began to be robbed. I was bludgeoned in this year. I was stabbed in this year. It's my opinion that it all surrounds the release of my, at that time, husband, Dylan Smith, Y12173 from the IDOC. Everything that's taken place from there has been incredibly corrupt. I've called the parole offices. They haven't been able to help. I've called and gone to 555 West Harrison, along with the Daily Center. I've done so on a live stream, meaning on Instagram Live, on YouTube Live, on TikTok Live, on Twitch, on any number of various platforms, Discord, on voice memos. I've made podcasts. I've taken photos and videos. So for 4
Xavier's trying to fix the tent. And it's a windy look, and she's trying to go live. Oh, he probably gets so aggravated with her. He either gets I'm sure he gets aggravated with her. But again, sometimes I think he doesn't mind that she goes live because he could kind of not have to deal with her bullshit.
Years, nothing has changed.
Ooh, what was that?
For 4 years, nothing has changed in the way of my strategy for disproving the false, slanderous, and libelous rhetoric that has been continually pushed.
I can't take it.
Sorry, strategically placed windstorm when I'm making sense. People hate
See, she knows she don't believe that stupid shit.
that. But yeah, so when you're dealing with a situation like this, you as the patient, as your own advocate, you have to be able to advocate for yourself. Say hi to my baby. When no one else is willing to do so for you. And it just so happens that my formal education and training is in medical law and ethics, and my informal education and training is in how to communicate. And that's marketing, sales, principles from each, principles of being heard when you are silenced, principles for getting attention to certain causes, like in fundraising lessons, and principles. So in the real world, there are a lot of ways to get yourself ready for situations like this. They're just not called, in any obvious name. Like, it's not like how to protect yourself in case someone is trying to steal your baby from you, or how to protect yourself in case someone has stolen your home from you and looked the other way while you were sexually human trafficked, beaten, robbed, bludgeoned, etc., and so forth, right? They don't make classes that are labeled as that. So you, as, meaning me or whoever, as the educated and intelligent adult in the situation, the only one who's going to advocate for you, you have to start understanding that there are reasons people fundraise. Every fundraiser that is huge, every money generating experience, the ones that we all recognize by name and the ones that we don't, they've all started with one person having a problem. One person needing awareness to that problem, one person needing funding for that problem. And once you start learning basic principles of sales and marketing, you put yourself in a better position to advocate for yourself, because you're not simply asking for money, you're also asking for understanding. And with a lot of these situations, in order to receive the understanding that they deserve, you're also asking for people's time and their attention. And with social media, we've proven time and time again that people's time and attention spans are between 30 seconds and 2 minutes at a best case for most people. So the challenge is always not only being an effective communicator in that limited amount of time that you're permitted to communicate.
It's so funny that she's talking like this, because she is the worst communicator, ever. She sucks. She's horrible.
Do you see this? This is a joke. The whole
Do you see this? This is a joke. The wind is totally destroying us.
Morning, not a single gust of wind, but as soon as I get on a live feed, it's like a fucking tsunami. It's unbelievable. Unreal. But not only in being an effective communicator, but also in finding ways to document for those cases where people don't have the extra 2 minutes to listen, where they walk out before they read what's going on, where they don't ask a question that needs to be asked, because they, at that point in time, can look back and you can verify, prove, and acknowledge that your story, your circumstances, your message has remained clear and unchanging. So, I'm very happy to report that I am 28 weeks pregnant. We're expecting Xavier's father to get us an apartment anytime now. You can see.
Of course. Oh my gosh, put a fucking bra on, Heather. Expecting Xavier, of course. We're expecting Xavier's dad to get us an apartment. Wow. I'm
very big, and we're very eager to start stabilizing. I told Xavier, I need my car.
No, see, that's the thing. Would you stabilize? No, because look what you just said. I need my car. You haven't even gotten an apartment yet that you think you're for sure going to have, and you're already saying you need something else. Whatever you get is never going to be good enough for you. You're always going to want something else, and on top of it, something better, something new, something extra. What else can Heather get? It is absolutely one step at a time. You don't even know if you're going to be able to keep this baby, and you're talking about all this stuff that you need. No, you need to get your shit right.
I need to travel to my children and bring them groceries every month. I need to bring my children back to my house if they want to have a sleepover. there are practical things going on.
A sleepover? Ouch. I would never, that's crazy. I could never imagine saying to my daughters, do you want to have a sleepover? Like, what? I mean, they live with me, so it's just, but it's weird. Like, I don't even really see, I've never heard even a couple who was divorced or separated and they shared custody. I've never heard of the other parent being like, hey, you want to go dad's to have a sleepover? Do you want to go to mom's house to have a sleepover? What? A sleepover? That's not, you're supposed to, that's like people who say, yeah, their dad's babysitting them. No, what do you mean babysitting them? That's their job. The dad's watching them.
In life that I need attended to and addressed besides just the pregnancy. The 7 closed tickets for help to shelter requests from 311, that would be a big, huge starting point for investigation. Why is no one doing anything about that? What the fuck is going on? No one should be left outdoors through the winter when they have already enlisted the assistance of the local government.
Okay, but I think you closed all those. Like, you just didn't, you're trying to be sneaky. You think that they're the ones, you're trying to act like they're doing it to you, but in reality, you're closing it, you're not ready, you get scared. It's almost like a drug addict going to rehab. Like, they said they'll go, but then at the last minute, they're not going to go. It's kind of like how Heather is, but she already knows she's not going to go. It's just kind of her plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's very, very strange.
As a matter of fact, I pulled up jurisdiction and legislation from various areas that all agree it is illegal, unlawful to leave people without shelter and food, especially when the temperature drops below 35 or 40 degrees. So it's printed in numerous different variations of and understandings of our constitutional rights, and in every state, but especially in cold states, that you cannot leave anyone outside without access to food or shelter. That for the society as a whole, you cannot leave.
Oh my gosh, you act like you're a freaking dog. Nobody left you outside, Heather. You didn't pay what you were supposed to pay and you got kicked out. You got booted. I don't understand. Like, you're not an animal. No one's here to take care of you. You're a grown-ass adult. You're supposed to take care of yourself. It's no one else's job or responsibility.
People outside, because people are not going to die. No one is going to curl up in a ball and say, well, I guess I die. People are going to go to the store. They're going to steal food. They're going to go get clothes when they're cold. They're, and as they are...
I love how she's saying that, because she's probably talking about herself. I steal food. I go steal my clothes.
Ignored and resentment builds, they're going to strike back in various ways, and we've proven that time and time again. So I'm very happy that I was able to get this appointment. I am super suspicious about it because I'm not used to, I come from a medical background. As you guys know, I worked at Northwestern for 5 to 7 years,
yes,
Alexian Brothers, Gottlieb, Loyola, like all of these systems combined, more than 10 years of medical office management, both front and back end. So that's clinical medical assisting, phlebotomy, which is drawing blood, injections, diabetic management, glucometer training, diabetic medication injection and administration training. I've worked for specialists ranging in fields from endocrinology to neurosurgery to gastroenterology to dermatology to primary care, and everything in between. Interventional cardiology. That was the first physician I ever worked with who taught me how to, the sterile procedure for scrubbing into a surgery. And I've done everything on the back end, medical law and ethics. That was a whole 3 months of my learning, full-time, 8 hours a day, strictly dedicated to medical law and ethics, the administrative culture of what happens in a medical office. How can you bill? How legally can you bill? How much do you receive back? What happens if your doctors do something illegal? What is the moral and ethical standing and expectation of the medical office? So besides the clinical medical assisting portion and then the 4-year degree, which was business management with a focus on healthcare administration. I also did these other courses that were specialized in understanding the medical law and ethics, the HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act. All of these things, are ingrained deep within me because not only did I spend 5 to 10 years learning them, I also spent at least that working in a real world application of those ideas. So when I call a doctor for 6 months seeking assistance with my pregnancy and I'm not permitted to schedule, or the only doctor I'm allowed to see doesn't seem like she's even really a doctor in the first place, you can understand why I would be.
I want to know. Of course, she's not going to tell us why. If she did, it would be a lie. But I'm just kind of curious why the hell she is trying to say she thinks she's not a real doctor. I mean, we know why, but it's like, what is your excuse now, Heather? Like, they're so ridiculous.
Skeptical. Working at Northwestern, it was never a situation of a patient calling, asking for a referral, and us saying, here's the one and only doctor you can see. Never has it ever been that way. It is our obligation as healthcare administrative professionals to be upfront with our patients and give them as much information as we have. That means choice. That means the power to choose. That means if you've recently been diagnosed with pregnancy. Recently been diagnosed with pregnancy, I'm going to give you 200 doctors, especially in the urban area of Chicago. I mean, we have thousands of obstetric doctors. I'm going to give you a list of all of them that take your insurance, and I'm going to allow you to decide what doctor you want to see. And that is the law. That is the ethical standard for healthcare and healthcare administration. That is what we are taught to do, and that is what should be done. This entire time, you guys, they've been giving me one doctor to choose from. I call directly to the state plan and say, look, there are certain life qualifying events that make a person capable legally, physically, and just morally able to wiggle out of any sort of pre-existing plan that they may have and put them into a period of what we refer to as open enrollment, which means you're not stuck to the insurance plan that you had last year. Some of those life qualifying events are new genetic disorders. So say, for instance, your mother got diagnosed with some sort of autoimmune disorder and you just found out, but none of the doctors that your insurance takes in your area will see anyone for that, issue. You're now in a period of, I believe, 30 to 90 days where you can change plans and change primary medical homes so that you can see someone who can specifically cater to your needs. Pregnancy, childbirth, those are also life qualifying events. So there are numerous life qualifying events that permit a person to switch their insurance plans legally. That if some sort of insurance plan denied the client the ability to do so, would result in tremendous amounts of liability, lawsuits, a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah, totally, Heather, because you're just trying to sue everybody. For some reason, you think you're gonna get restitution and lawsuits and win millions of dollars from everybody.
A lot of money. So what needs to happen is, a lot of money. Are you going?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Where is he going?
Babe, see if they have this flavor or sherbet. No, not this one, the green.
Oh, are you getting ice cream, frozen yogurt, sherbet?
You want our sherbet if you get that. If not, just water and a chocolate croissant.
Later.
Yeah, put it in here. Thank you.
Are y'all still in it or what? Awkward.
Okay. And all of this too, please. Hand it back to me. Let me get rid of all this.
I swear if that's Jimmy John's, I've been craving Jimmy John's. I better not be Jimmy John's.
Love you too. Please be careful and hurry. Don't talk to strangers. I'm cold, you guys. My bad. I just turn off the heater so I can pop up the my phone on there.
I gave you the dryer.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep.
That sounded so fake. I gave you the dryer. Oh, yeah, thanks. I gave you the dryer. Where else are you going to put the dryer? You going to hand it over to your tent neighbor?
Please be careful.
I will do.
Look at all of this. I don't even know what. Crumbs.
Okay.
So nasty.
Yeah, because y'all fucking get high and eat. That's it.
Okay, what was I
Off my
saying?
ass.
Oh yeah, so anyways, anyone who's been along for the ride, I've gone live on these phone calls before, like numerous times. And you guys have been equally as appalled as I've been. I've even called Springfield and said to Springfield, what in the mother is going on? And Springfield has said the same thing. Call your local alderman. There's nothing we can do unless the state changes policy. There's nothing we can do. And I'm appalled by this. I mean, I am a person who has years worth of training in these fields. I know my rights and my voice is silenced. As I was just discussing with Xavier, what possibility, what chance are we giving the rest of society? Not many people spend 10 years learning about their medical and healthcare rights, So they just go off of what they're told. It's really disgusting to me. It's sickening. It makes me feel as though I'm not in the United States. It makes me feel as though I'm in some sort of a third world situation where people don't have the right to healthcare.
Fast forward.
It's disturbing to me. And not only is it disturbing to me, the combination of text messages that I receive saying disturbing things about my baby or my children that I already have, and many other topics, combined with all of these very weird real life circumstances, like the limits in the doctors that I'm allowed to see and choose, that scares me. How would I be looking for a doctor for months and all of a sudden, with no assistance from anyone, one random person calls me and says, oh, did you need a doctor's appointment? Okay, great. Here it is. It's at this time and this location. Here, this is where you go. So I don't have the right to choose, and that's not right. We all have the right to choose, every single one of us, for ourselves and for our own health.
Okay, yes, I agree with that. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm about to lose my crap. Like, it's so bad that I'm like, have I done this? Did I ever do this fucking video before? Literally a broken record with everything. Yes, you have the right to choose. I firmly believe that because I would never, no offense, but I would never want a male gynecologist. It makes me really uncomfortable. And I have to really feel like a good vibe with you if you're a student. I don't like people like lingering around me like that. That I can't, no. I just need my doctor, and it's like the same doctor who delivered all 3 of my babies. So it's just, I agree with that, but you're at that part, Heather, where you can't do much of choosing right now, and that's whenever you can't think much of it yourself. You need to think about the baby, that you don't ever do, and just make sure the baby's okay. Right now, it doesn't care about the doctor. We just need to make sure the baby's okay. And you're just pretending to find, you're trying to find ways where you don't see the doctor, where you think this is gonna, oh, yeah, I completely understand why you missed all your appointments while you were pregnant. Yeah, that totally makes sense. They're not going to say that to you, Heather. Everyone knows what's going on. Everybody. Everyone's just waiting until that day. And you're going to have a lot of knocks on your door.
Here. So I didn't want to accept the appointment because, as I said before, I can't find much research about this doctor. The doctor looks young enough to be my daughter. I mean, she looks probably 19, 20 years old. I'm 36. I have a 17-year-old daughter. I'm just not comfortable. And we're at 20 weeks of pregnancy now. I know my baby's healthy. I've ordered all my own stuff. So I have a primary care physician.
Wow.
He's an awesome person and care team. He has multiple people who work with him. I believe it's up to 10 now and 2 locations. So I continue to work with him, and he's aware as well that there's been these intrusions, and I send him updates. This is who I called today for medical care.
Is she saying that's what she sends her doctor? I hope she really does. I hope that's what she said. I hope she does send all that to her doctor. So that's just proof that they have, she's kind of mentally unstable.
This is what I was told. I've been oppressed out of this opportunity, etc., and so forth. And just having all of this documented in so many places, that's what keeps me alive. That's what keeps these cases alive, and that's what keeps hope alive. In addition to that,
big ass tit.
The young age of this woman.
How big that bitch is.
I'm also a little bothered by the fact that they called me the day before Thanksgiving. And I've been looking for a doctor for many months now. Many months.
Many months.
It's not so much what they're doing that makes me bothered. It's the order and frequency that they're doing it in, I know intuitively that something is not right. I know. I can feel something is not right. The people who answer the phone are ghetto or dumb or like valley
stupid.
girls who have never even graduated middle school sounding like they're like, hello? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but you do not. You cannot sit here and tell me you have no intuition. No.
Say, hello? I'm pretty sure this is how you answer the phone when you work at the hospital. Hi, thank you for calling. This is Heather. How may I help you? Or Northwestern Hospital. This is Heather. How may I direct your call? Or, hi, thank you so much for calling. How may I help you? Something like that, right? You don't answer the phone. If you're really an employee of the hospital,
Heather.
You don't answer the phone like this. Hello? Am I right or am I wrong here? You know? And these are the types of cues that I've consistently been receiving to tell me something is not right. Something is majorly off. And it's very bothersome that I continue to involve law enforcement at every angle from a local jurisdiction. So I'm talking like 18th district and up higher to the entire city of Chicago. I walk out to see my children in Portage Park and O'Hare all the time. Rosemont, Harwood Heights. I have personal relationships and experience with many of those officers. Yet those officers are not speaking to that personal experience. Those officers are saying, we know she's not crazy. We know something's going on, and then just dropping the buck. Well, if you know that I'm not crazy and you know that something's going on, why are you not escalating it a step up? And if they are we not having possible problems with government jurisdictions and authorities moving up the chain? I've begun recently connecting with a lot of aldermen from Chicago's north and south sides because that's mainly what I deal with. As I said, I've lived as far north as Portage Park. I temporarily stayed for about a month in the Evanston area, and I've lived as far south as the South Loop. I've never really lived farther than that, but I have stayed in Airbnbs in those areas. So I get, a real idea for what life is like down there, transportation, the culture, et cetera, and so forth. And when I say I've stayed in an Airbnb on the south side, I mean like for a month, 4 weeks at a time. All of this is relevant because the world has not ended, so there is jurisdiction somewhere. If I can't get it where I am currently, I move around and look for it there. I know that there are aldermen in place right now. Are they real? I couldn't tell you. Are they the same aldermen as, prior to the pandemic of 2019? I really don't know. So I guess that's where I'm looking for law enforcement to formally fill in the gaps and begin communicating with me. If I can't be, acknowledged with my human right of knowing why I'm being funneled to one specific doctor and not permitted to choose my physician, we're not living in a free society that's constitutionally sound. We're living in, I don't even know where, like I said, a third world country, some sort of dictatorship. This is not the way life works in the United States, right? I'm 36 years old. I've been choosing my own doctor since I was 17. So what is going on? And that's it, you guys. I'm tired, I'm frustrated. I'm completely over energized from sitting in this fucking tent for 7 whole days. Have only been out to go potty. And then coming right back in. Nice. Xavier's father said he was going to get us an apartment, but that was a week ago. I sent him multiple listings. We've not heard a single word back, so our fingers are still crossed. As I said before, I have 7 open tickets with 311 that have all been ignored. All of these are individual lawsuits, all of them. They're all violations of civil rights, human rights, constitutional rights, morals, and ethics. Babe?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I was fixing the grain.
Are you choking?
No, I was fixing the grain. It's good now. Let it grate up.
I heard you on the right.
Well, I was going all around and fixing the grain.
Please hurry and be careful.
All right, I love you.
I love you too.
Was he outside this whole time?
And again, if everything was okay, then guess what? I would be at home with my children right now, not sitting in a tent. So again, to this day, 4 years into this experience, law enforcement has told me absolutely nothing. They have given me absolutely no direction, no reassurance, nothing at all of the sorts. They've been compassionate at times, but basically they appear to be confused. They don't have any answers. I say to them, how is it possible that I'm not being prevented services, through 311? We don't know. How is it possible that living with someone on parole who was actively using drugs and alcohol and having a firearm in the house, how is it possible that that person was permitted to keep my house and I've been outside ever since? We don't know. Well, are you going to find out? Are you going to start looking into it? Because we're in year 4 now. We are in year 4 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 years. 4 fucking years.
Oh,
my
no,
vehicle has been
please,
destroyed.
question.
My home has been destroyed. And I have been separated from my children who have been in my full custody for their entire lives from the moments of their birth all the way through 2020. When am I going to get some answers? So that's what I do, you guys. I document everything everywhere. I go to as many hospitals as possible. I order my own tests through my primary care physician, meaning lab work, meaning ultrasounds, meaning anything that I need diagnostically for myself. I either go to him and explain to him, and then he'll give me the order, or I simply call over the phone. And we have a long time relationship. He knows that I know my body, and he will listen to me describe the situation. And he will listen to me describe the situation, and then he will authorize those orders. So I've never been without medical care, but I've definitely been without consistent medical care from anyone other than my primary care physician. And that's also strategic. You know, like I just said, going and passing out a narrative that's half a page long that has all my direct links to all of the video of the bludgeoning and my hospitalization following the bludgeoning, the video of the police report numbers that I filed when my apartment in Harwood Heights was broken into, the video of my ex ingesting nitrous oxide and saying, "So what, I beat the fuck out of you." That's the one on parole. So all of that stuff is publicly posted. All of that is pivotal in understanding this case and all the cases connected to it. And all of it can be found publicly here on Instagram, YouTube, and many other social media platforms. I pass out a piece of paper to law enforcement that I encounter, as well as any sort of medical staff that I meet or encounter. It is in my legal medical record. It is in my DHS case. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. Every lawyer I meet, my family members, it is everywhere. So there is no bullshitting. You are not going to say that, you know, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You are not going to say that I was out partying rather than being a mother. You are not going to say that I am not filing police reports or that I am involved in any way in any of these disgusting filth that's...
For her to say, you're not going to say that I'm out partying and out with my kids, I feel like there's a part of her that kind of likes this freedom. You know, there's always little truths and stuff like that. Like, she... Just like whenever she talks about crack a little too much, it's like, there's a reason why you're talking about crack quite a bit.
Going on around here, you could say it, but we can prove otherwise. So... it's exhausting, you guys. For those of you who have been with me this entire process, I know there have been a lot of you since the ManyVids days, documenting all of this tremendous adversity. Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. I am waiting for the day that I win a settlement, that I begin being in receipt of restitution, especially for the violent crimes that have been done unto me, especially for the time I've been unlawfully separated from my children, especially from the unlawful detainments and robberies of my property and physical home, my car, etc., and so forth. I believe with my entire heart and soul that I will receive the restitution that I deserve, which, according to my lawyers and many other lawyers I've spoken with, is in the neighborhood of $12,800,600.
You are such a
and that's everything
lie.
From the unlawful detainment in the psychiatric ward to the unlawful detainment in Elmhurst and Delnor hospitals, unlawfully documenting that there was a psychiatric issue that I was there for when I was actually there because I had been dosed and was vomiting and pooping and unconscious, found by paramedics. You know, all of this is very well documented, and all of this has a dollar amount. Every single part of it, every part. Many other lawyers I've spoken with is in the neighborhood of $12,800,600. And that
there's no way she actually believes that. She's just like chilling in her tent, being homeless, waiting to get rich. Like, she really thinks this is a Lifetime movie. That is, she is.
That's everything from the unlawful detainment in the psychiatric ward to the unlawful detainment in Elmhurst and Delnor hospitals, unlawfully documenting that there was a psychiatric issue that I was there for when I was actually there because I had been dosed and was vomiting and pooping and unconscious, found by paramedics. You know, all of this is very well documented, and all of this has a dollar amount. Every single part of it, every part. as I said before, every one day that I'm separated from my children has a dollar amount, and we're at 4 years. What's the price that you would allocate towards someone stealing you away from your children? $100 a day per child? $1,000 a day per child? What do you think would be fair? You know, I bought a $15,000 car. 2 months after I paid it off, it was destroyed and stolen from me.
Shut up about that.
I was unlawfully thrown out of my own home at 2037 West Roscoe, and that resulted in me being intentionally sleep deprived and then sexually assaulted. I won't usually I say something out of frustration that's very vulgar and vivid to give you guys an idea of what happened. No one other than law enforcement threw me out of my home. Law enforcement and the criminal justice system. And the tape that you guys saw on One Heather GEE that has law enforcement standing outside of my home and me explaining to them what was going on, a photo of the padlock that Dylan was attempting to install in my bedroom door, and a video of him smoking nitrous oxide while on parole, freshly out of prison, clearly having a drug problem that I reported to his immediate supervisors. All of that can be found publicly on Instagram. And the result of the inaction and the mishandling of all of those things, that's what landed me out in the street being sexually assaulted. That's what landed me having my vehicle stolen. Do you think that if I was safe in my home at 2037 West Roscoe and Dylan would have been taken in, for substance abuse therapy or counseling, that any of that would have happened? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have been raped and sleep deprived for 5 days and then sexually assaulted in the street in cold blood.
Hey, look, lesson learned. Yeah, everybody needs to watch who the fuck they hang around with, okay? We gotta take on responsibilities and know we cannot trust anyone, and a lot of people are pieces of shit, okay? On to the next.
Absolutely not. If you have a safe home to sleep in and you have your own vehicle to get to and from work like I had, not because anyone gifted it to me, because I worked my ass off for it, I would have never been raped. What's the price for a woman being sleep deprived for 5 days and then sexually assaulted when she screams, "No, please stop"? What's the price for that? So, I love you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day. I have not given up. I am documenting meticulously. We are in year 4. Every day that passes is an increase in that dollar amount. Viviana, Luis, Alexis, I love you so much. I can't wait for us all to meet your baby brother. We haven't decided on a name yet, but we have been talking about Weston, possibly. Xavier really likes that. I like it, but at the same time, I feel like it doesn't really go. Like, I have a Viviana.
Well, this is awkward. You may not need to bother. It's sad, but it's what's gotta happen.
Alexis, and they all have Hispanic last names. So I'm white, mostly Italian, Irish, and American.
Oh, wow, I can't believe she just said she was white. She only pulls out that white race, like, every now and then.
And I have some Cherokee Indian, and I was raised, very cultured. I was raised in many different cultures. I was raised a whole year of my adolescence in a third world country, Jamaica. Babe?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I forgot to latch.
He's out there smoking shit. What do you... yeah, sorry, I forgot to latch. Like...
So, not really like your traditional, regular American person. I'm kind of everything. And then my children's fathers are all Hispanic something, either Ecuadorian or Mexican. And Xavier is Mexican and Lebanese. So, all of our babies have some sort of Hispanic flair, and I kind of want to keep the name thing going, with that. My daughter Alexis is Alicia. My daughter Viviana is Viviana Maria. My son is Luis Alejandro. So I kind of Weston is so white. I like it, but we would have to do a definite Hispanic middle name just to keep it all flowing.
Yeah, okay.
If you guys have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. Again, as I said, thank you guys so much for being there to support me. If you guys are here in the comments being nasty and hateful, I saw a bunch of toots being dropped and some other nasty rhetoric that we've definitely charged people for already because they're repeat.
Who did you charge at her? That we charged people for?
Offenders. There are no new people jumping into my dialogue saying these things. It's a bunch of people from 4 years ago who have not been charged yet who deserve to be charged. So please keep showing up. In addition to that, the one and only last thing I'll say is I have been through hell. more than hell. I have been through things that no human being should be through ever in their lives ever. And I have not treated anyone, even a fraction, as disgusting as the way that I've been treated. I don't know what some of you must be going through. I don't know what type of abuses you must be enduring. But I will pray that you receive the peace that you need, that will ultimately bring me and the rest of the world the peace that we need. Because there is no one at all, and I've said this before, there's no one in existence who deserves to be treated the way that I've been treated. And that's from a pedophile to a child molester. Just kill them and put them right out of their misery. That's it. You know?
Like, I'm sorry. I know this is probably not the best either for my religion, but why would you put a pedophile or a murderer out of their misery? I'm sorry, but if something happened to one of my kids, Lord knows what would happen. I mean, I can right then and there, or I would want to enjoy and see how it feels. So that really is really honestly very strange to me that she would say that. Like, just put them out of their misery. Especially if you've been someone who have been sexually assaulted. Because if you've been sexually assaulted, like abused, raped, any of that, you know that feeling. So then whenever you have kids, you're extra protected, and like you know what's out there, you're more aware, and that would make like you crazy if someone tried your kids like that. And you would say just kill them and put them out of their misery? Really? The same people who supposedly did crazy shit to you, you would want them to be just put out of their misery? You wouldn't want to like torture them a little bit the way that they did to like kids and people before they off them? Like, that's weird to me. That's quite frankly very weird to me, Heather. Not that she would want to not hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be a bad person and say, like, oh, you should want someone to be miserable. But all these claims that people supposedly do to her, I can't. I'm breaking up.
Treat someone with such disdain and torture people. The people who engage in torturing others or extending someone's life to torture them, they don't have any place in modern day society. And you could ask my peers. The society that we're building, the society where we all have enough, where there is no one living in lack, where there is no one going around harassing someone so that they feel sad and miserable. That's the society that I'm working towards. That's the society that my team is working towards. And that's the only society that I want to welcome into my communities. Any of my social communities, any of my in-person communities, any of my communities, period. So if you're here being awful, I highly recommend you leave.
Being extra weird.
You guys have a great day. I'll let you know how the doctor's appointment goes. If there's any sponsors in the crowd, we recently had like 4 or 5 sponsors disappear again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if maybe they just ran home to go get more like supplies. I really don't know what's going on. But people have been very
run home to get more supplies. Are all these people living by her? What kind of supplies they getting? Supplies like make stuff? Wink, wink.
Very generous, and for that we're very grateful. And if you want to donate any time, money, advocacy, if you'd like to be helping making calls towards the court system and presenting my legal name, Heather Gillespie, and saying, hey, we have questions on her behalf, please continue to feel free to do so. I very much appreciate it. Also, if someone could check on all 3 of my children, as well as Nick Albuquerque. I have not heard from my mother or my sister in nearly a year. I spoke with my father yesterday, so I think he's okay. But my main concern at this point is going to be Sam Worley, Nick Albuquerque, and obviously, as always, my children. So thank you guys again. Talk to you later.
Pregnant. Way too pregnant to be sitting on the floor. 28 weeks, 4 days. Heather Gillespie. Millennials are causing a baby bust. They aren't having enough kids to keep the U.S. population at the replacement level. Yeah, that's what the government wants. That's because rent is $1,500 and jobs paying $12 an hour. Heather says, meanwhile, I'm pregnant, 28 weeks, 4 days, and being held outside in a tent, abused on an irregular basis, and prevented from obtaining regular health care.